government or a wildly expansive socialist government. And that will be the argument until Republicans start using provocative language to change the status quo. I think I heard the word provocative last night. How many of you heard that in the debate? Yes, Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. And yes, the emperor has no clothes. Why is it that those who simply make these truthful observations are castigated as uncaring or reckless? This doesn't mean that people who rely on Social Security will be cut off. That's a false scare tactic of those who want to maintain the status quo. Right here in Orange County, we have some brave council members in Costa Mesa, Irvine, other places that are using provocative language. Let me tell you the horrible things they said. They said salaries, pensions, and medical benefits that we pay public employees are unsustainable. Oh my gosh, what a horrible thing to say. You would have thought they were asking the employees to give up their firstborn. Again, the emperor has no clothes, but let's not castigate those who have the courage to speak the truth. Now, how many in our audience today are Republicans?
Proud of it.
And how many in our audience today are Tea Party patriots? Wow. Everybody said raise their hand except the press corps, but
They're working.
Oh, their hands were tied. I guess they had cameras, right? No, we really love you all, guys. Okay, so let me just say what your own vice president, the vice president of the United States, said about you. On Monday, he said you were barbarians. He called you terrorists. Jimmy Hoffa Jr. said you were SOBs. That's a badge of honor coming from him, all right? And Congresswoman Waters said you should go to bleep, right? So have you ever noticed that when Democrats start losing the debate on the merits, they resort to just calling you names? That's what they do. They can't beat you on the merits if you speak the truth. And that's why we need to support these folks that are out there in the trenches speaking the truth. Now, what is the truth that you were speaking that was so awful? Live within your means? Quit borrowing money from the Chinese? Live under a constitutionally restricted government as our founding fathers intended? Those are the awful things that you've said that have warranted you to be called by our own vice president barbarians and terrorists. Well, guys, you're winning the argument when they resort to those names. So all I say is keep up the good work, keep up the pressure, keep up the rallies, keep up the harassment, keep up the accountability. And by the way, we don't care whether it's a Republican or a Democrat that you're holding accountable. Because for far too long, we've also had Republicans that haven't always voted the right way. But it is time that we had some provocative language in this state, in this country, because that's the only way we're going to solve our problems. And I want to introduce a gentleman who is very provocative. Many of you know him, and you'll know him as provocative. But this gentleman got elected to the Orange County Board of Supervisors last year. Yeah, you know his name. And the union spent $1.2 million in a campaign to defeat him. I don't know how much money he spent, but it wasn't near that much because it was his own money and your own money. And he won that race. He stared them down and beat the opponents handily, the ones that were backed by the labor unions at $1.2 million. We need that kind of courage. He speaks provocatively. Please welcome Supervisor Sean Nelson.